Good morning, everybody. Today, we're done working on floors for a little while, a couple days here. So it's back in the old shop. That's right, on the four-wheel pop-up. We're gonna go inside. I haven't messed with it now for almost a week and a half again. We got busy working on some floor projects. So we're gonna go inside and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna work on. You know, I gave you a little view of the awning last time and what was going on there. You know, this is all the stuff I took out of it so far. Just basically all the cushions and all that stuff came out. Taking quite a bit of weight out of this camper already. So I really want to lighten things up a little bit and you know, make it more ergonomically correct for what I'm doing with it, you know. But I'm going to save all the original parts so it can be sold, you know, as an original four-wheel pop-up someday, because these things are kind of a classic, especially these old ones. Kind of dark in here. Let's just go right up in here like this. Get some light on the subject here. I'm all plugged into my 110 power, so I can plug in there. So yeah, I think I missed a bunch of footage last time. So up in that corner over there, you can see it, all that rotten. It's rotted out a little bit. You know, it got wet at some point before I had it many years ago, and it's slowly falling apart because I've had this thing up and down a bunch of times. You can see it's tore a little hole in the overhead right there in the headliner, and I just want to replace all that plywood there and make a new folding little pop-up wall thingamajigger. So I got to start by taking out all those screws along the bottom. You know, I'm going to take all those screws, then I got to figure out some kind of a pop rivet system to pop rivet the new pieces all back together, and I will use these as patterns. I'm going to take this cushion out of here too. You see that cushion there? That's what flips up and makes a double bed out of the top. When that's up, it makes a double bed out of the whole top there, but I haven't used it like that for a long time, so I'm just going to make it so it has a single bed down below and a single bed up above, and I can always put that back in, like I say. So and I'm taking the refrigerator out, going to make storage cabinet out of that, I think. And then over here I'll have room for another cabinet, because when I'm out boondocking in this thing, I found that I use this lower bed probably more than I do that top one, because a lot of times I pull in here and I don't even pop it up. I just crawl in and sleep right there. That way you're kind of incognito, a little more stealthy. It looks just like a big canopy on the back of a truck. Okay, I'm going to get some tools and start taking this thing apart. I got my Jill pokes and I got a piece of plywood there. Move a few things out of this cabinet if I can stand in here. I'll clean that out a little better. Work in here. So the idea here is to get this piece of plywood up here. So I get down, I'm going to have to take this down. Maybe like that. I'm going to keep pressure on it because if I let this go, this whole thing will collapse. Somehow or another, I got to get this in there and around this thing without letting go of it, or it'll fall on my head. Alright, now I got it there. I can get this back up where it goes. And then I can start putting my little sticks in there. I'm going to keep it back towards the back of the camper, like this, so I got room to work up in there. Because once I put this in, it'll kind of stay in there for a while until I get it all rebuilt. So, I measured these a little bit long so that I could jam them in there like that. Maybe I made them a little bit too long. Maybe I should have taken a little bit longer. There you go. That's a good one. Do one over here. There we go. I must to measure that in. It fits down there better. Go ahead and put a little extra on there. Give it nice, make it nice and taut. Now this thing here you can see it's not doing anything. Which is exactly what I want. You've got just a little bit more there. There we go. This there, they got pop rivets in it so it won't just come out. So I should be able to go ahead now and take out all these screws, top and bottom, and make this and bring this thing completely out. But first, it really doesn't matter, you know, whether I'm camping or boondocking or if I'm working on the camper, you gotta have a nice cup of coffee. That's the Pete's, the good stuff. Okay, I dug this old pneumatic chisel out of the van. I haven't used this for a long time, but it's an old Campbell Hosfield. Probably not made in the USA, but I got this a long time. This used to belong to my brother Steven, made in Taiwan. You can see here I took it to my grinder and I put a nice edge on it so it's pretty sharp. Those are aluminum, they should come off pretty easy. But you know, I already drilled as much as I could until they started to spin in the hole. Now I'm just going to try to pop the heads off with this and hopefully that thing will come down. Wear my nice RO protectors here to protect what's left of these old ears of mine. Popping right off. Okay, got my rivets. This is pretty much done now. I still have to put the little thing on it, the metal bracket that holds the handle. So that's how it sits in the van. You know, these rivets are a little bit different than the ones, so I actually had to grind the backs of them, just the hair, to make it work right. So that's it right there, and then if you pull the handle down, it folds down like that. And you know, it doesn't actually go completely 100% down, because there's that cavity that the actual pop-up top folds down inside of there. And that captures that. It folds down pretty flat. And it's all spring-loaded, so when you pop it up, it pops right up. Then you lock it in place with that little handle to make sure it can't pop down in the wind or whatever. So that part of it's done. Move on to the next project. All right, so I'm gonna work on these little things I mentioned before I can put that bulkhead back in. So if you look right here, you can see there's actually a little hole that goes through right there, and there's a few little marks here. It really doesn't hurt the integrity of the canvas at all, but just to make it a little better, I'm gonna cut like these 2-inch strips of this material, and it's up there too. So that's from somebody not putting it away correctly. When somebody put this away, they didn't actually, you know, they didn't put it in there right. They didn't stuff it in the way it's supposed to be. The way when you get done with this thing every time, you gotta make sure it's folded in there nice and neatly. So I'm gonna make those two little things there, and I think I'm just gonna do it on both sides. So the way I have that is, I'm gonna dig out this material I have here. I'm gonna open this up and cut some 2-inch strips. And this is actually a shower pan liner. So I'm gonna clean that up and wipe it down with acetone. And then I'm gonna smear a thin layer of shoe goo on that. And I'm gonna stick it in from the inside. I'm gonna get those prepped and ready. I'll wipe it all down, and I'm gonna stick those in place inside here, so you'll never see them. They're going to be back behind the bulkhead, but the holes on the outside will be sealed. And I don't know if you know anything about this shoe goo stuff, but man, I learned a long time ago this stuff fixes a lot of stuff. You can actually repair a hole in a raft or one of them blow up things you pull behind a boat. I mean, we actually I repaired one and it lasted for years. That's great stuff for certain applications. I think it'll be good for this one. So I'll get back with you on that. Alright, I'm going to go inside and prep that area too. Wipe it down, make sure it's nice and clean. Okay. Well, this concludes this episode of the 4-wheel pop-up camper. Little, it's not really a remodel I'm doing here. It's more just a, you know, fixing up some things. So here's that bulkhead. It's in, it's done. Got all those over 100 pop rivets in and screws, and got the bracket back in for popping it up. And so now it's all new wood, and you saw what I did behind it, so it won't leak anymore. So this is all ready to be used now. I'm going to tell you, I rate this particular project right here, it was not easy. I would not say that this is for your novice, and I didn't really have all the proper tools. I had to run out and buy another pop rivet gun, and You know, when they do this in the factory, I'm sure they do this a little differently than I put it back together. It's good. It's good for their 20 years. But I would not rate this as a simple, easy, do-it-yourselfer project. I had a difficult time getting this back in and getting it all back to where it works correctly. I didn't film all that because it took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. But anyway, it's done, and I'm going to move on to doing some of the other small stuff in here that I wanted to do in another video. So this is the end of this video for now. If you learned anything, if you liked anything you saw, you know, give me maybe a little subscribe. Let me know you're watching. Anyway, till next time, we'll see you. Okay, bye.